welcome back to Doctor Who, Series 3, Episode 11, Utopia, where, once again, I am joined by my brother Caden.
Yeah, bonjour.
And today we are going to be watching Utopia, as I said. I think this intro never had a structure. I've just always messed it up. It's always been confusing. Yes, if you don't know what we're doing, we are basically going to be recording an audio commentary track live. So obviously for legal reasons, can't just stream an episode of Doctor Who. So in a little bit, we are going to be doing a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. On go, everyone's going to hit play. And then we'll just stay synced up. For Doctor Who specifically, this is a little bit more complicated because there are essentially 2 episodes of Doctor Who. And hey, next week, I actually have to elaborate on that because we have to acknowledge there's 3. But for now, there's 2 versions of Doctor Who. There is what we'll call the American version and the original UK version. Don't worry about the third. You were almost certainly not going to see it. They were exactly the same, except the American version is about 4% slower. We are watching, if you're watching live, the American version. Notice how I've stopped talking about uploading a sped-up UK version at some point.
Fell off a while ago.
I'm watching a Blu-ray rip of the American Blu-ray set, the David Tennant Complete Collection, which is a fantastic deal, and I would recommend it to everyone. It's like $20, and it's usually on sale for lower. It's baffling. It's like the most popular Doctor. I don't know why, but I'm happy for it. And yeah, today we are watching Utopia. Just Utopia. I know the ending kind of leads into the finale, but 3 parts is a lot. Doing it this way lines us up very nicely for Ncuti Gatwa's next season. And it's basically a standalone anyway. It just bleeds into the next part. So, just Utopia. Next week we'll do the 2-part finale. But Caden, Utopia.
Yeah.
This is an episode where they tried something new, and I'm also nervous. I've actually done this joke before. Where there's been this episode that I'm not remembering, of course, that I've summarized before. Where, we see the Doctor's adventures where, like, they make good episodes of television, but in between that, there's a lot of not episodes, but a lot of travels where they just, like, go to a resort, or they're tourists, they hang out. It's usually fun. Right. Except, actually, Martha does seem to have a pretty bad time all the time. But this one is the TARDIS lands in an area, and it's literally just Utopia. Come to think of it, this is actually just the Keeper of Traken. But no, it's literally just a Utopia. And they just have a good time. It's one of those adventures where there's nothing nefarious happens. And so you're kind of on edge the whole time. Like, when are we going to find out that, like, the lizard people run it?
It's all fake.
Or whatever. But no, it's not. It's just Utopia. Like, nothing happens at all.
Just have fun.
Yeah.
It's a classic episode of Doctor Who.
Yep. Now in the Keeper of Traken, it goes bad. But this isn't the Keeper of Traken.
Keeper of Traken sounds really ominous. I would be afraid.
The Keeper of Traken is the start of the 3 episodes that represent the 4th Doctor becoming the 5th. It's the 4th Doctor, second to last. It's pretty good, as I remember. It's got the Master in it, so that's fun. It introduces new companion Nyssa. But it's a pretty good one, Keeper of Traken. But that's not what we're watching today. We're watching Utopia, which takes place between season 1 and season 2 of Torchwood. That's a weird thing to bring up. But I don't suppose you remember anything about this episode.
Off of title,
probably
not a thing. No.
Some things might come back. We'll see. I've been looking forward to it. I don't know if there's much more I can say in the preamble, but we'll have a lot of comments as we go through. I don't think there's been any Doctor Who news. BBC confirmed the heavy air quotes rumor that Doctor Who is releasing, was it April 12th? 3 weeks. 3 weeks. And by rumor, I mean they accidentally aired a version of the trailer with the release date like months early, and pretended not to. The 5th,
that's
I
funny.
guess, April 5th. It looks like. But yeah, we'll, as I said before, after it'll be Voyage of the Damned, we'll be doing reviews on Sundays of the Shurigatwa episodes.
I've got to say,
Yeah. Oh, go on.
the intro today really has seemed efficient. I think we just like we very quickly got to all the things that we're supposed to talk about.
I think it's because we remember it's human nature has a huge preamble about it being a book. In Blink, we remember. And there's a lot of
Usually-
things I could talk about at the start of this episode, but I'd rather wait till they happen. So what you need is like really big revelation episodes, you know, or like the Gallifrey's destroyed kind of ones where it's like I can't talk about that. So
It feels like
Yeah.
we usually get off topic so quickly, and that's the best part. That's what people come for, our
Well,
unending charm and wit.
to allow people to get set up before, because that is the point of the rambling intro.
Yeah.
Is we're about the midpoint of what I've called previously Doctor Who's probably strongest consecutive run of episodes. We're on number 3 of 5. Come to think of it, actually, the Christmas special is like the most viewed modern episode, so you could throw that in as well. But usually it's just constrained to this season. What are you thinking so far of
God,
Human
really
Nature and
good.
Blink?
This
I
run
think
has been great.
I think the start of this run is better. Not to badmouth the end, but I mean, Human Nature and Blink are two of those episodes that are just next level, you know?
Yeah.
Next level Doctor Who. If you were to write a short list of like what the best episode of Doctor Who might be, or like what the best few, they would both be on your initial list.
Yeah, I'd say as
Or
much
most
as I
people.
thoroughly did enjoy Blink as well last week, Human Nature still, I think, after having
Oh, yes.
settled on both of them, Human Nature tops it.
I know Blink is the number 1 rated episode of Doctor Who since its inception on like IMDb and general audience review scores. But Blink would not last too long on that short list. Less so because Blink is bad, but more so that of the 400 Doctor Who stories, there's a fair few exceptional ones.
Yeah.
But still, Blink is very much enjoyed by the fan base, and it's still a very common an episode people show others to get them into Doctor Who is that first hook, which is itself a controversial take. But you were complimenting how this intro was lean, and maybe we should just take that. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I will say before we get too far in the action that there's an edit everyone wishes was made to this episode. You can see it on YouTube. I keep meaning to actually, because as I said, these are digital rips from my Blu-ray, make that edit, take the YouTube version and insert it into the episode. I have not done that, but it would have been hilarious if the episode we were watching was literally unique and no one else could watch it. But yeah, I'll point it out. It's really early in. And,
Okay, is it like a fix a mistake, cut something out, or like
it's a
add
change
something?
to the title sequence, and that if you didn't know what it was before, you probably do now. Watching it, yes, this is that episode. If you couldn't remember, but I am about to wake up my hard drive. Don't hit play. It's probably gonna be fine, but it was not fine. Where's my image? There we go. Now we can do the official countdown. So as I said before, we're going to do a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. On go, everyone's going to hit play. Don't skip the intro. Start at the beginning. Usually there's nothing weird about like Blu-rays having different things than streaming. Come to think of it, we don't see a BBC logo before every episode. But that I think later discs do. So it might just be a timing thing. I don't know. No one's complained before. I have faith in German Amazon. So
As you should.
let's continue. You know, Germany, a country that really hates Tesla, so they got to be doing something right. Anyway, we are about to do the countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Although Germany, a country who also really hates nuclear power, so yeah, pros and cons. Welcome to Cardiff.
That is a big sign on that building.
It's a real building in Cardiff.
Really big.
When I went to Barcelona, there's a building on the beach, which is probably not narrowing it down, I know, that I thought looked a lot like it. It looks like a fish. It's a building in Barcelona that looks like a fish. That reminds me of this Cardiff building. Hey, who's that?
Oh, there he is.
Torchwood season 1 ends with Jack hearing this TARDIS land, and then he just books it. Torchwood season 2 starts with the Torchwood crew complaining that Jack's been gone for like a year. Which is kind of weird, but we'll get to that later. You don't really need to know anything about Torchwood. They'll get a name drop. I know Torchwood are the bad guys, but all you need to know is that Torchwood's basically just a ragtag team of Jack and other people now. So go watch Torchwood if you care. So here's the edit, right? Captain Jack is hanging on to the end of the TARDIS for dear life, right? And I know Doctor Who doesn't have much of a budget, right? Oh, subtitles are on. But God, wouldn't it be great if this intro still had Jack on the door going, Doctor!
1,000%.
You can go to YouTube and get a version of this title sequence that has that happening. And I really just want to slice it into my episode. Like,
that would be absolute cherry on top.
I'm a sucker for custom intros, but it's really only like fairly recently when it seems shows have had the budget to actually do a custom intro for some episodes. Sometimes they could be real impactful too, not for Doctor Who, but that comedy would have been great. See, Utopia.
Yeah, this really seems like a happy place.
There have got to be some people in the audience who would love this situation,
Yeah. This is what happened when I stepped foot in Florida.
In Florida? What? They were like, human!
Yeah. I started freaking out. I had to run away.
Wow, yeah. You're still on the run.
I'm in hiding
you
right
can
now.
make these. Just like Catherine Tate. Derek Jacobi. There he is.
Yeah, I know this face.
Derek Jacobi. You didn't remember his name, but a very popular, famous actor. He's a sir. He's been knighted, so one of those. Great voice. He plays a pretty big character in Big Finish, who's amazing.
I recall you saying.
Yeah. Mostly because he loves doing it, because Big Finish can't afford Derek Jacobi. Weirdly enough, too, he sounds a bit young to me, because I'm so used to his fairly recent Big Finish. Oh, no, it might just be he's a little more cheery in this, but he does a great job. I do like this lab set. We'll see it more, but...
I love a good cluttered space.
It's not that cluttered, but it works.
Lived in, it's loved.
Lived in. It's cluttered for like a laboratory, which is what it should be. I need to get back into Jared Jacobi's Big Finish stuff. But I need to finish Torchwood first. I know. I still haven't watched Torchwood Season 3. The good one. Martha's in Torchwood for a little bit.
Huh.
After this episode, I think, she goes to Torchwood. Because, yeah, she's in Season 2.
I'm surprised that the Doctor hasn't been this far.
The end of the universe?
I
I
feel
mean,
like
it's
you'd
a
want to see
bit
that.
existential. There shouldn't be anything going on, you know?
Suppose he took Rose to the end of the world, like, first thing. That's existential for a
Yeah.
human.
This is a thing you tried to get to me as like a spoiler or something. I'm like, for Torchwood or whatever. I'm like, no, I know. This is kind of Jack's whole deal. Not to spoil it for the people in the audience.
Good coat.
How did Jack get from the end of like the year 4 billion to Earth? Obviously by going back in time to the Victorian era. I don't actually remember how he got to the Victorian era, but there we go. I wonder what this would have been like to watch at the time. Because the people who watched Torchwood know loads about Jack.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if we've gotten much of his backstory yet. I don't know if we know how he got back to modern day Earth.
This is a battle between two good coats.
No, I don't think anyone can beat Jack's coat.
Doctor's got a good one.
Yeah, but look at Jack.
Yeah, I mean, stunner.
This is always a bit weird, though, because we watched that Christmas special, right? Where right after, not Christmas, sorry, Red Nose Day, where Nine just regenerated before the Christmas special, right? And Nine has a bit, Rose is like, should we go back for Captain Jack? Because I guess she knows he's alive somehow. And Ten's like, nah, he's busy, like, got stuff to do, rebuilding the Earth. But now when we see Ten, he's like, I want to go back and leave you.
Yeah.
Oh, this is how we know.
Huh.
Everyone always talks about how cheap and nasty the Vortex Manipulator is, but also it never seems that bad whenever people use it.
I would see the Doctor being a time travel snob. It's like those people that specifically make their own coffees with like all the fancy equipment.
But Jack has a Vortex Manipulator that barely works. The Doctor has the last TARDIS in the universe. Like,
I mean, I get where he's coming from.
He's not even a snob. He's just right. To be fair, he fully acknowledges in a lot of incarnations that the TARDIS isn't as young as she used to be, you know? Oh, 2007. Vlogging. That almost looks like a miniature to me. Almost.
Huh.
That's good. That's well done. It's dead, but I guess it's supposed to be. It's not a miniature, right? It's 2007.
Well, I mean, even today they still make miniatures for something. It's a good way to do it.
Doctor Who... Oh. I think they were kind of half and half for CGI and practical back in this day. It's the combination of the fog and the standard definition that does it, though. By the way, the last thing that happened to Jack, I'm pretty sure he defeated the devil in Cardiff. He was like 50 feet tall. I do like that line, too. That's very much the sort of thing I'd say. It's like, everyone's dead, no life. Well, he's doing pretty good. Look at him. Much better than fighting the devil. So Jack... Jack's kind of a weird character. in Doctor Who, he's very much like this. He's the image of Jack you have. In
Mm-hmm.
Torchwood, he's much more, let's say, Ninth Doctor to David Tennant's 10.
Yeah.
He's much more that. I was about to say, like, he pulls out his big old gun. Torchwood is definitely for mature audiences. It's odd. It's not bad, but I don't think I'll ever rewatch it. I don't regret watching it, though. If you got, like, a weekend, give it a go. Torchwood was also... Chris Chibnall was effectively, like, a head producer, showrunner-y kind of guy. I think it was officially Russell T Davies, but he was infamously busy running 3 shows.
I would imagine.
But Torchwood's probably going to come up a lot when we get to the Chibnall era because of that. I know it's Doctor Who, but I do wish the whatever they're called weren't just humans with weird teeth.
Yeah.
Like, could you just paint them? Is that much more expensive?
Yeah.
I guess the guys in the back don't need teeth. Yeah, look, that guy's... I think he had normal teeth.
They can only afford one set of pointy teeth.
Well, they honestly do. There's literally 60s Who. Some of the Daleks were genuinely cardboard cutouts. It's hilarious in Blu-ray.
Funny.
But they just have cardboard cutout Daleks. And often even in big budget movies, you'll have like the guy up front who's in like fully decked out soldier gear or whatever. Then the guys in the back have poorly painted cardboard because you won't see them. I like Jacoby is like, oh, everything. That's not everything. Good old Yana. Anything coming back about this one, by the way?
Actually, surprisingly, no. None of this
That
is
is quite surprising. But welcome. I wish I couldn't remember this series. I was about to say I remember them from a future episode, but like, yeah, it's this storyline. I was like, is it something with 11? No. Four.
Wow, got some sass.
It's the end of the universe. Come on, let them work. Okay, maybe someone with a bit of a booming voice.
Someone who can
Maybe
project.
she's not qualified. Like, Jack's got a voice on him. I love that
Cool.
look. Brilliant. This is feeling like it's going to be a two-parter. You know what I get?
Mm.
That's a bit
Yeah,
slow.
it's taking its time.
By the way, I want to let this speech play. Just a little bit. Both 9 and 10 have this with Russell T Davies' original era, but it's the meaning of 9's speech when he takes Rose to the end of the world. It's like, you humans, you're always worried about like global warming or nuclear war or some other whatnot, but you never stop to imagine like, what if you survive? You know. And I do very much like those takes, especially nowadays. I think we need more of them.
He falls to his
Why
death.
why was that door? I think those walkways are supposed to go. Oh my god, that is every time I'm like, what the hell? That's a huge rocket. Look at that.
Yeah.
Put Starship
Big
to
rocket
same.
feels a little familiar.
That's like a rocket that ships starships around the place. You say it looks familiar?
Yeah, the rocket feels a little familiar.
It's probably Elon Musk's Starship, which is basically that, but significantly smaller. It's even made of steel. Oh no, this is why they can't be painted blue. I love Yana, not even like explaining what they're trying to do, just go to a random part, be like, this is the accelerator. But Doctor's on the way. He's like, yeah, I agree.
That
Look,
stair set seems like a trip.
we'll talk about John Barrowman when it's the 13th Doctor's era, when we start seeing him less. That's my rule with controversial actors. I kind of like as well that the end of the universe is more advanced than Time Lord Society was. Hey, there we go. Straight from the set of Torchwood.
This hand I'm familiar with.
I don't think he put it in his backpack in Torchwood, but, you know. As you do. Oh, we're even going to see it in case you forgot. Yeah, if you forgot Jack, that's on you. But this... That's what... I don't know. Like, it's only weird because the other flashbacks aren't there. You said he should run away, but I like we do a lot with the end of the universe. I genuinely think this might be the only time in Doctor Who where the spacefaring races did not know about the Time Lords.
It's just this one guy. He lives a very sheltered life.
He does.
Everyone else, the people in the hallway,
everyone
they
else
would have
knows.
been freaking out. This guy's he's been in his lab. He's
But Yana?
he's not listening to the news.
Could you grow an army of doctors? Just cut off your hands, make new ones. Done. Well, someone pointed out, actually, I think it was Clever Dick's Films documentaries, that the 10th Doctor does, he is clearly taken from watching the 4th Doctor as a kid. David Tennant actually does a lot of this, of putting little bits of all the previous Doctors, because of course he's a mega fan, and has been since like John Pertwee.
A good well.
God, I miss the Hermit United joke. So great. I'm sorry I deprived you of the Hermit joke. So we came here instead. I love Russell T Davies naming.
They knew to give him. Wanted to hear that silky voice.
God, yes. I need more Derek Jacobi. I'm gonna go watch Torchwood. Probably not, but I want to watch my box sets. Listen to him. Okay, this is how I get you into Big Finish, is through Derek Jacobi. His first... No, I'll wait. No bells being run?
Oh.
I'm baffled, but, like...
the only thing that's familiar is...
yeah?
I recognize us maybe when everyone is trying to climb into the rocket, but I don't know why they're trying to climb the rocket.
I don't think that happens. I don't think that happens.
I have no idea.
I am baffled that there are no bells, but I am so glad. Debbie Downer. Is that a model Ares in the background? Like a rocket? Oh, poor Yana. Jacoby doesn't play Yana in Big Finish, but I wouldn't mind a box set of this. Naturally.
Clever.
Wait, why would you need to reverse the boost? Do you want the flame to go, like, into the rocket? My god! I was trying to reverse the boost, but what I needed was the boost to go down! I wish that was a little harder.
Yeah.
But, you know.
I get the rocket with my screwdriver.
Look, I'm a software engineer. Literally yesterday, I spent like 20 minutes with QA trying to figure out why something wasn't working, only to realize they scheduled it for April 21st, not the day we were testing it. Took 20 minutes to realize that.
Yeah.
So sometimes it's that easy, but you know, it's a little too many times, I feel. I had to turn this down.
Good to know they've still got Diesel at the end of the universe.
The audio mix, yeah, that's just a military truck. I've noticed the audio mixing getting a little worse with these past few episodes.
This
Usually,
one is all
changing the audio from headphone to stereo does it, but like you're kind of hard to make out over the episode for me sometimes. But then it's too quiet. Here, is this the scene?
Borden?
They're not clambering over each other, though.
It's close enough. That shot. I remember that.
All right.
This is the only single thing I remember from the episode.
That's the most memorable thing about this episode right there.
There
We can stop.
Yeah, that was the most important.
We can just
Honestly,
stop.
I think yeah, that gave me the gist of everything.
The skies are made of God, what's that accent? Let me do the impression. My mum used to say, the skies are made of diamonds. I can't, every time I do Scottish, it goes into whatever that is. A little bird comes and that's like Macbeth or something. A little bird comes and sharpens his beak on the diamond mountain. God, I can't do it anymore. I've broken.
I think it was beautiful.
Thank you. I do like the music in this episode. It's often kind of understated, but... Well... I should show you the Fourth Doctor doing that. It is the same thing. It goes, well... Even like the side mouth of talking.
It is a beautiful little trait.
Well... I've actually kind of adopted it a bit sometimes. It's like, wow. God, so selfish. I'll give you all the admiration you want, Derek Jacobi. That's weird.
Yeah, I feel like there's
maybe...
gotta be a
Oh, I was gonna say maybe Chantho could do it, but Chantho would probably refuse to stay if the whole thing is being with her. That's not your box, that's just a cardboard box. In fact, let's just skip your rocket. Let's just go. He does. He has models of like modern day missiles and rockets in the background, but no futuristic ones. That's kind of interesting. Like there, see? They're all just the white missile looking things. I don't instantly recognize one that I know it's like a real rocket. But they might be. They resemble like Ares and stuff. I'd recognize a few of the Russian ones, probably.
Did we know why the time the TARDIS got sucked to the end of the universe? Did we like
Jack,
touch on that, or did that just happen?
I'll tell you at the end. There's a scene that mentions it, but
Hmm.
we might have missed it. It's just the Doctor Who theme. Boom, 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 boom. I'll elaborate later, but that's one of the coolest coincidences of the franchise, honestly. Though.
Hmm.
Chan, but that would be rude, though. No, dang it, I messed up. I like weird little, not just alien, although I guess it'd have to be a fictitious culture. These sort of cultural taboos or stuff. And this is one that kind of straddles the line between being feasible or like a random thing someone wrote.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do. Yeah, nah. He's young and not apricot. He is a tall indigo, and then whatever the rest I didn't see. They're all acronym names. They all stand for something. It's a future thing. Yep.
Zoom's really falling off at the
An
end of the
indigo, laughing, llama, orangutan. He's a llama orangutan.
Precisely.
Yep. Nothing to do with a modern name, Attilo, assuming it's a modern name. Total coincidence. That's a bad place to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't love that, especially now that the boost has been reversed.
Well, now, yeah, it's going down. How do you hold the radiation back from this room? Surely it's the suit or something.
Tight grip.
Oh my god, no, when they say under.
Yeah, that cannot be safe.
Who decided this is where we put our radioactive
At least put
material?
a roof on it.
Come on.
I mean, that is within the active jet blast.
When Starship launches, it destroys the thing that was meant to keep the flame back. Like, this is like 50,000 starships. The funny thing is,
do that with a big stick.
That's the rocket nozzle, right? Which means there's no ceiling to that room.
Yeah.
So it's not even contained.
4 walls.
To me, it's set radiation. We don't know how it works. I do love, too, they don't know what they're doing, but they flipped what looked like breakers back and forth. So they just turned it off and on again, you know?
Well, that was effective.
Yeah. Shoutouts to this guy, though. He's like, I got a job to do. Who decided little touchpad buttons with that glove, though? I know it's the end of the
probably
universe.
the person who decided to put the room underneath the rocket.
Look, it's the end of the universe. I know you don't have to worry about long term, but well, Jack's dead. Rip. Raise. Actually, maybe don't raise one.
On forever.
F in the chat
sneeze.
for Jack specifically.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Can't whip his dick out anymore. What? No, don't do. Jack Barrowman may have done things. No, let's give him credit. He just whips his dick out on set, and then people tell him not to, and he does it anyway. Describing him like I do actual sex offenders is a disservice, but still, he's not great. You're not going to see Jack anytime soon. There's a reason we invented Rogue.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. It was fun having Jack back though. You get a
Hmm.
decent amount of characters coming back throughout the Russell T Davies era. Kind of helps it feel a bit more connected, especially when you keep going back to the modern day.
Hmm. I like the reintroduction, especially in a show where time is you just play with it, and you can go meet Jack when he was a baby.
Well, then you'd have to recast him, which isn't the worst thing, but I could see him meeting Baby Jack, but he's still wearing like that shirt. He's kind of buff. He's as
Yeah,
attractive as you could make a baby be, you know?
absolutely.
That's the limit. You'd be like, that baby's gonna grow up to look good.
Yeah, I love the bringing characters back, even just for an episode or two.
No, that was K9.
And Mickey.
Yes, of course. Boom, 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 boom. Wait, he needed to say the word TARDIS instead of stepping. All right, never mind. No, he did. He saw the TARDIS and he reacted weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're getting the scene. I think we see that actually in Torchwood.
Oh.
Poison. I want to know about that one though. I should have put that in the special, but oh well. It's the only time I've ever heard someone say that about my appearance.
He's time
See,
racist.
there you go. Hey, you made the joke before Jack did. But this, yeah, prejudice, yeah. Don't laugh, Doctor. It's my race of immortals. But no, that's why the TARDIS went to the end of the world. It was running away from Jack. As we've established, she is racist, so you know.
Absolutely. But she's gonna work on it.
Well, as you do. Why don't we get flashbacks to this? What do you think? What's going on with Yana? I want your theories. Oh, hey, we do get a flashback. I don't know. Go on.
It makes
Your
me.
theories.
It reminds me of when Sutek. I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Something about.
It is
Smell
kind of
of
like
Stephanie?
Susan and Sutek, right?
Yeah.
Russell T
Something
Davies
is using
stealing
him.
his own work again. No. You don't? No? Nothing?
No.
All right,
He's coming
wow.
back.
You're the token, like, casual who dropped off Doctor Who around the 11th Doctor, but, like, you don't actually remember it.
Yeah.
Mom actually remembers more about this episode than you, I'm sure.
I'm sure once there's a big.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know,
they'll
figure out what's
probably-
happening. Maybe, but I don't even know.
Torchwood's pretty fun, actually. You could be there. They're all Jack. That's the twist. They all turn out to be Jack. They pull
Jack's
off
been
their
alive
masks.
so long. He's had a lot of children.
Himself, yeah. This was an episode for fans of the classics back in the day, I'll say. Damn, wish we remembered that. Poor Yana. What he needs is a watch.
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
Like that
That's
one.
a $50 investment.
This watch is broken.
It's little boy.
What do you mean? No,
Funny
it's just
little favorite child
He
action.
just got it from the same factory, you know? It's coincidence. Boom, 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 boom. I was astonished when you did not recognize the watch. Because this is one of the brilliant twists. Because human nature is, of course, its own story. Like, the Seventh Doctor became a human. I don't know if it was a watch in that, but it served its purpose and then it comes back. But he's just got a broken watch. So of course the obvious question, which Time Lord? Boom boom da, boom 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 da, boom. Nothing? Boom boom da, boom. I mean, 2 episodes from now is called The Last of the Time Lords, so he can't be, like, a Time Lord. It's K9 from Gallifrey. Yeah. No, this is an exceptionally done twist. I'll say, when I watched it after having seen the classics, it's a little more obvious, I'll put it that way. They kind of make it, but it's still, not knowing it was coming must have been a huge moment. And this is why this whole season I've been wanting to talk about, but you keep being like, Anne, I don't remember. I don't remember. I like how even the Doctor stops doing the controls, too. Every other time they've been working in the background. So, I'll wait till we figure out who he is.
That's my iPhone alarm. I wake up to that.
That is just Was it a phone alarm at the time? I mean, you had iPods. It's been like 2 or 3 years. He said his TARDIS was racist too. It took him to the end of the world. The universe. There, that chuckle. That's the one. That's my boy's chuckle. They play lines from the classic Time Lords. Is that Derek Jacobi? There we go. I don't recognize. I think that's Delgado. I don't know if they do Eric Roberts, but you had Anthony Ainley, my boy. Hot take, I know. But did you hear that evil chuckle? That's why he's my boy.
Yeah.
You've met Ainley. No, you met Delgado. You've seen this character before. So funny enough, you're watching the episode where we reintroduce this character. Alex is about to meet the character in Classic the first time. I find that hilarious on our watch through. But look, I heard my name. It is an acronym.
What? Of course it is.
If you rewatch our broadcast, because yeah, it's Russell T Davies. I've filled this episode with references to this revelation that you just haven't been clocking. Yes.
My name.
Well, you're about to meet this character in our watch through.
Oh, nice.
So spoilers, get out of here. Here we go. Are you ready to meet the best incarnation of the Master? Derek... Oh, I said the Master. Shoot. I spoiled it. Yes, Derek Jacobi does play the War Master on Big Finish. And that's the main character he does. The best incarnation of the Master, hands down.
I
And his
I don't doubt
first
this.
box set is actually a prequel to this. It's how he ends up at the end of the universe. There we go. That's the War Master voice, I know. God, he's so good. I want more. There's like one set in that whole range I don't like. And it's the one where he just goes and makes some companions' lives miserable. That's just it. It's not very fun. But God, is he good, is the master who fought the Time War.
I love
And
the
then-
physicality. His ability as an actor to, I don't know, present as a different person now is very. It's always great. Like when you see a movie like Split or something with James McAvoy, I love as an actor. You get those actors that, or like even the Doctor in Human Nature,
Yeah.
where
So-
once he becomes the Doctor, he physically embodies a different character.
You're right. But the master's big on disguises. So in Big Finish, he does the same with his voice alone.
Oh,
And so obviously, on visual, it'd be great, but
yeah.
I mean, even just look at his voice now.
Yeah.
God, I do feel like I'm missing not seeing his face, though. That's good. That's Fury. Was an invention. Also, this Ace's name for the Doctor. I need to go listen to some more Master. Revel in the best. We will talk a lot about Masters as we get their episodes, but Derek Jacobi is the best. If you have never seen him, do yourself a favor and go get some of the War Master. Look up Derek Jacobi's birthday. They'll probably all be on sale that day. Like, because they are worth it. If you need a hook, some of them, there's a great one with David Tennant. And the parts with David Tennant are actually, I think, the weakest part. But the first story in that set with David Tennant is exceptional. I think it might even... No, it wasn't how I got into Big Finish. It's how I got into Big Finish that didn't include the Doctor. Not my master, my boy. My boy. God, we were robbed. Like, David Tennant and Derek Jacobi would have been brilliant together. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the next one too. Spoilers. But just these few scenes they have together, two incredible actors.
Yeah.
So we'll get more into like where this master is with the Time War and all that in the next two parts. But here's a fun part. God, don't be sexist. That is just weird. I don't know where the hell that line came from. But so this regeneration will be a little interesting. I admit Doctor Who probably could not have afforded Derek Jacobi either. It's probably why you regenerate him. But he's gay now. No, it's all rainbowy. And this is a point where this, the like yellow stuff that the Doctor does isn't really like the Time Lord regeneration until like 12. Until that point, you could argue that the different Time Lords have different regenerations. Because this is the second one we've seen. It's not even till like the 11th Doctor that we establish that's what the Doctor's regeneration now looks like. It was like a new thing every time in the classics. And there's a bunch of interesting theories. We can go over some fun theories if you want after this episode, but here's John Sim. I'll get my thoughts after the episode on Sim. I'll let him play. The only master besides Delgado, who was dead, to not really do Big Finish. He has one Big Finish story. It'll be good seeing Sim because he doesn't do Big Finish. Probably haven't seen him in like 10 years. But it will be interesting too. A lot of thoughts on the Master after this. We're gonna have our preamble as a post-amble. Bye-bye. He's looking good in Jacoby's clothes too.
Yeah.
I always like it when they have something behind the TARDIS too, like that fan moving. There we go. To be continued. So yeah, this is the part where you get like, what? To be continued? You weren't supposed to know this led into the next two. Let's start with you. Your thoughts opening on Utopia.
None of it really rang. Somehow, truly, that one
shot
rang the only thing that I really remember vividly.
It was a good shot, but we have the Master.
No memories of that at all.
The sound of drums, the bum 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 bum. You're gonna be hearing that for a good long while. Okay, like like I'd imagine anyone who watched Doctor Who back in the day would have remembered that. Because it's essentially the story of the next Master, John Sim's Master. They don't have numbers. I can't give this anecdote, but there's a fun thing about the numbers and the Masters. But I realize it's a spoiler. We haven't got to yet. Because I think John Sim would be the 6th if you count it what I think is the sensible way, but I'd have to sit down and like open it up. It's complicated. We never really like that. Actually, I think was the first time we've seen a Master regenerate into another. We've seen one Master become another in a different episode. Actually, funny enough, the Keeper of Traken, hilariously. But welcome to why the Master's numbers are confusing. He's also been resurrected. That's never really explained. We'll get in. Look, there's whole lore that's just never really stated about the time lore. Wait till just wait. No, that was all we'll see of Derek Jacobi televised. You could barely get a taste of him. You probably shouldn't have a real opinion on him as the Master. You would not acknowledge the quality of his acting, but the War Master sets on Big Finish, just go get them. They're not really in a particular order. You could do any. They probably get better over time. Because the first, I think they're still, it's a new range. There's no Doctor. They're a little more cautious. And the first story, the people actually confuse the Master for the Doctor. So he has to kind of pretend to be the Doctor. So you don't necessarily get as much of him. But it's well worth it. It is probably Big Finish. It's one of Big Finish's strongest ranges out there. And there's still just strength after strength. Well, I haven't listened to the last 2 or 3, but I haven't heard it go downhill. So
it could go sharp in those last few.
The Master, this will be a bit of a preamble because I'm interested in your take watching these modern Masters. You've seen Anthony Ainley once. No, you've seen Delgado. We watched, I think, Terror of the Autons. You watched his debut. I'm actually not a big fan of Delgado. This is a hot take. This is a hot take. But the classic Master is generally let's start. The modern Master is crazy. That is the template from John Sim onwards. John Sim absolutely makes an impression. You'll see he's kind of driven insane by the sound of drums in his head.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it as it goes on. I think it's very well done in his story arc that we see. Um, but it's very different to the classic master, who was not insane. I mean, they were evil. Anthony Ainley was the master for most things, and he looks like he Doctor Who Anthony Ainley. I want you to describe this man to the audience who can't see the pictures.
This picture exactly, he looks he doesn't look so evil. He looks like a
he looks like he invented the model, the like mustache twirling villain look.
in this photo he looks fine, and especially that one you're kind of
He's
hovering
in all
over.
black. He's got an evil goatee. He's like,
yeah, but like that expression,
that
that's
chuckle you heard was Ainley, like with his he. Oh look, it's crispy.
yeah, he is very
yeah
cartoonly.
So he is cartoonishly evil, but they're generally more calm, collected, calculated. I don't know if you remember Delgado, who was very emotionless isn't the right word, but he's super calm, collected. Mm-hmm. Derek Jacobi is a good mix between the insanity of the modern master and the template of the classic master, where he does have that cool suave exterior. That Professor Yana you saw was like genuinely a good guy. The War Master can do. He can put on that face and that disguise. Yeah. He'll also give a great evil chuckle when his fan is finally revealed at the end and revel in the like Lovecraftian horrors he's forcing you to endure. He's fantastic. But John Sim, as I said, I think it's very well done in his thing. The only complaint I have about John Sim is the effect he had on the masters after him. Because as I said, the master is insane now. A lot of people compare him to like to put it kindly, a Joker-esque character. To put it unkindly, a discount Joker. Which just isn't what the original character was. And a lot of people like me find it just less interesting. The master after Sim is the whole thing. Well, they got an arc, but their whole thing is how like insane they are, and they'll do things actively against their goal to prove the point that they are insane. And then the one after her is also insane because of some other reason. But people are kind of getting tired of I say people. The dedicated fans are generally tired of this insane master thing and prefer the classic take. And we all love Jacobi. If you ever buy his Big Finish, they'll be like, yeah, Jacobi's the best. Mm-hmm. And so I'm interested to go into Sims. From me, I haven't seen him in ages because he doesn't really do Big Finish. But see what I think of him. You know, how he stands with the knowledge of where the master goes. If I wish he was more like the classic. There's a lot of interesting things about Sim. But also from you, as someone who doesn't have a lot of this context, what you think of the character that you have never known really any other way. Like, you saw Delgado, but, you know, one episode. Do you even remember, like, anything about him?
Barely.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, he also looks like he invented the mustache-twirling villain. He just doesn't laugh. Yeah. I describe Delgado as someone who is doing a job that, like, he enjoys, but it still is 9 to 5, you know? Like, he goes home and does something else. But all the other masters do this because, like, it's their passion. They revel in their villainy. And the Delgado is just, like, someone who the CEO really likes because he's great at his job. He enjoys what he does. He's got his, like, classic American housewife and 2.5 kids.
Of course.
And so that's why I'm not a big fan of Delgado. And Ainley's camp, but it's 80s Doctor Who. Like, why? Yes, of course he's
meant to be there.
And old Crispy's barely on TV. He's in Trocken, though.
He's
less terrifying. He's less disgusting because his face, like, moves.
That's good. Yeah, that would probably help me.
But old Crispy. Good old Crispy. There's Big Finish Masters. There's Eric Roberts, who's his own thing. Movie Eric Roberts is a weird mix. He's equal parts ridiculously campy, but also the Terminator. Not even that's where he took inspiration. He is like cold, dead serious, but also it's a weird split, and I like it. It's a hard one to walk. He manages to blend campy and serious perfectly, and it's just the novelty of it is very interesting. But on Big Finish, one of Eric Roberts' conditions and the interview of his own set, well, he didn't say as a condition. It was a request, he said, is what he wanted was to take the character more seriously because he just personally, as an actor, enjoys that more, which I find weird, but, like, you know, he's whatever. He's an actor. He can do what he wants. And to me, it just kind of makes the character worse, kind of generic. So Eric Roberts is a bit weird. I really wish he would embrace the camp, but, I mean,
yeah,
you know, it's his... I get there's fun in serious jobs. It's just depending on, and like, it's a difference between watching it and acting it, sure. So,
yeah.
That was my master take. I was going to do a master ranking video as a practice for the doctors, but I weirdly think it's actually harder. Because, again, that last modern master, the most recent one, the question mark current, but probably not one, is one of the few things that even, like, pretty deep Chibnall haters like. And I don't see it, and I've never seen it. It looks like his Big Finish set's probably going to be bad in the same way Missy's was. I mean, this is judging it from a trailer. Could be great. Maybe it's just the one set. But it's one of the things I'm most interested in getting to when we get to Chibnall in our watch through, because I'm probably not going to rewatch it for another reason. Do I not like that master because I can't see how good he is because of the other problems with the era that maybe when I'm now looking specifically for and knowing, you know, when the era ends that I can see, or are the fans just wrong? Because I'm interested, you know, I don't know. I've been turned around on some things before, but
Yeah.
I think we get
Good
Jodie pretty soon as well. Her box set starting. Apparently The Fugitive Doctors was really good. Call Me Master's coming out soon. That's Dewan's for more Big Finish plugs. That's the Spy Master, I think we call him. Sometimes they have a title. Sometimes it's the actor. I don't know. But, yeah, that's... What else are we thinking? 13 more. Yeah, I think I covered them. 9's coming out soon. I think that's September, August. 9th Dr. Rose. We talked about that, right? On Big Finish?
Yeah, we did.
Those will be fun. That's how I'll get you into Big Finish. It's 9 and Rose.
I think I told Mom that because I thought she would think that was exciting. Just when you told me about that, and I was like, oh yeah, there's going to be more Rose. And I was like, oh, there's more Rose?
There's already more Rose. There's some 10 in Rose. I think they have one set. I don't know if Mom would be as excited as 9 in Rose, because 9's a character that you, especially as defined that one first season, where you're probably not a mega Doctor Who fan yet, is a character who improves on rewatches. Or if you're kind of person who really dissects like themes and stuff like that. He's definitely a character that you're kind of like, yeah, he was there for like 5 episodes by the time I'm a big fan. But then, you know, 10 is so big, Rose and 10 is so big, he just gets overshadowed. And then the more times you go back, I've said before, the more you get into like EU, to classic stuffs, to Big Finish, to actual legit Time War stuff, the more you'll hear people talk about those like themes or some of the real clever things that you don't really notice unless you really think about how the episode's constructed. He just gets better and better every time you watch him.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if Mom would be as excited. Our mom, of course, as you might imagine, being like token casual fan of it's even surprising that Mom liked Doctor Who. That's kind of its weird thing.
Yeah.
You know, Doctor Who's just built different. I think this is understood. As a sci-fi that just sometimes isn't, it has a reach. You know, it really does.
Yeah.
And Mom got into it because they want to, you know, I was a kid. They liked doing things with me. I really liked it. But they actually did like it. And they talk now they want to get their husband in, and I phrased, I don't know why it's from that, our stepdad in. I don't know why I phrased it from their perspective, and sit down and watch some of that, Tenant stuff that they actually liked. So they actually liked it. It's not just watching Elmo with the kid, It's
Yeah.
And yeah, they're interested. They haven't actually done it, I don't think, with 15. They haven't gotten the new stuff, but I don't know. Mom will probably go and then drop off somewhere with Matt Smith, and then maybe we'll convince her to pick up.
Sounds about right, yeah.
But yeah, so our mom's the stand-in for like the real, because you're not quite the filthy casual you once were. You're just a dirty
I'm
casual.
Close. I'm learning.
Yeah, dirty casual. Don't even remember the drums. Oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up. The master's drum beat. It's what he hears in his head. The boom 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 boom
yeah
boom 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 boom. That's of course the opening lines of Doctor Who since the 60s. The boom 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 boom. But that's not why it's what he hears. He hears that because it's the dual heartbeat of a Time Lord. And I'm pretty sure we've heard it before at this point. But the interesting thing is that opening bars of the theme is, of course, from the 60s. The Doctor doesn't have two hearts till the third Doctor in 1970. And so it's a fun coincidence that the theme has sort of become... Well, actually, maybe they were inspired by the theme. That's a possibility. It's a synthesizer, or it's a wobulator, I think, actually. Not a bass like it is nowadays. So it's not as heartbeat, but it's one of those fun coincidences that the opening bars of the Doctor Who are the dual heartbeats of the Time Lord. And of course, leading into Sim hearing the drums. But yeah, that's the fun thing that no one probably stuck around to hear.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. Unless you got anything else, though, next week. Maybe predictions for the next... Because they're stranded at the end of...
yeah, they are stranded.
They took the
Well, they have a time vortex manipulator.
I remembered that, did you?
Yeah, they made note that was like on his wrist.
They might have said it's broken.
Well,
they
the Doctor fixed
point out
all the rocket.
Well, they might point out at the beginning of next episode that it was broken. So I don't remember where that line is. But any ideas? Like, they got to get the TARDIS back. They're fighting
naturally.
the Master. Makes it sound like a fist fight.
I think they're going to team up with the Crooked Teeth people, and then since they're like future or whatever they are, they're actually super, super smart.
All right.
And so they're going to build a time machine with a big machine gun on it. Or no, a big mechanical arm.
Judge by like
then they can...
That one future
they're gonna
knew their way around the
travel.
circuit breaker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they have some smart people in there, and they're gonna get a time machine with a big mechanical arm, so they can meet and drive next to the TARDIS in the time vortex thing, and then grab it with the mechanical arm.
Back to the Future. They turned that army jeep into like a time traveling DeLorean through concussive maintenance, because that's their thing. But it's like 100 trillion years in the future. Concussive maintenance has come a long way. So they all just come and like beat on the truck, and it just becomes a DeLorean. That's
how they're gonna solve the problem.
Yeah, they're not actually like tribal barbarians, to use the problematic terms that I don't know if there's alternatives for. They actually just are concussive maintenance masters.
Yeah.
They're
That's
not
just their way of life.
That wasn't a hunt. That was their doctors. They were gonna hit the guy with sticks, and he actually gets better. Like when the doctor hits your knee with the little thing, and you give a little kick, it just makes you better. That's what is happening. That's what the point of that.
Yeah, and the Doctor knows that.
It makes your kick stronger over time. That's why adults are stronger than children, is because they've had their little knee tapped over the course of like decades.
So that's my prediction.
Should have saved that for what the sound of drums is an episode. But that's the banging. It's the banging on the truck. It's the sound of drums. There we go. We've already done the episode cover. If I ever do put these into some supercut, we have to remember that I did that, or we're gonna lose this. Yeah, there we go.
No, how could we forget? No, perfect.
Man, I'm gonna have to come up with a new thing for the sound of drums. And Last of the Time Lords. I don't know. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I believe in.
I got a week. But yeah, I will wrap it up then. I will say thank you all very much for watching. And I'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.